Coming up, does being certified organic make a difference? We'll spend some time with a certified organic juice bar to taste the difference and see what it takes to make fresh, cold-pressed juice. Then, we visit one of South Florida's most recognizable historic sites with palace, ocean, and garden views. A local ENT shows us a new solution for a chronic runny nose, and a sour Professor Produce shares the health benefits of limes. All that and more is today on SoFlo Health. Today we're taking you back somewhere between 1914 and 1922. Hello and welcome to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie and that is Viscaya Museum and Gardens. We are so excited to be here today. It's built by James Deering back in the 1920s somewhere, and it's a national landmark and one of the most famous places here in South Florida. And we can't wait to explore and share with you today. If you haven't been here already, well, you're in for a treat today. We're gonna go meet Ian now. He's an expert on the garden side of things. I mean, we've got the beautiful architecture, but there's also wonderful gardens here that we can't wait to see, so follow me. Juices, juices, juices. You hear all about them. In fact, we've had plenty here on SoFlo Health. But a special part of juicing is cold press. And we're actually able to see that here live and in person at Clean Juice in Plantation. First, we're going to talk to Mike and then meet Chris and see the whole process. Follow me.
Clean Juice is an organic juice and smoothie bar. We're based in Plantation, Florida. We specialize in fresh-made and cold-press organic juices. We make smoothies, acai bowls. We also have wraps, salads, and sandwiches, and a few other items. What makes Clean Juice different is that we are USDA organic certified and that we cold press on site. We also make fresh-made juice here at the Juice Bar, and there are other places around town that don't do that. So I think that they're the three things that make us stand out.
This is Chris, General Manager of Clean Juice here in Plantation, and as you just heard Mike mention, the cold press here in-house, which is pretty special. And we're getting the, I guess, backstage tour.
Absolutely.
And seeing how that process works. So, what are we doing, Chris?
We are going to press a quarter batch of orange. So Ernest has so graciously prepared that for us, so I'm gonna...
Great, can I help you out? Can I grab this?
Absolutely, you can hold it if you would like.
That's a lot of veggies.
Yeah, be careful. Okay, so this is the arm that's attached to the machine. I'm gonna turn it on for you.
Great.
Be careful, there is a blade inside.
I'm not touching it. I'm not. That's all right. Take this from you.
So then we're gonna take this arm right here. Take that bad boy out of there. Turn the machine on.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna pull this lever, and this lever is gonna condense all of the fruit that's in that bag into juice.
So we went from kind of grinding all the ingredients down, they load up in this bag here, and now that's being pressed, and that's where we get what we call the cold pressed juice.
That is exactly right.
Great. Well, lucky for us and lucky for you at home, when it's time to enjoy it, they've done all the hard work for you, and all you have to do is taste
Drink it.
Yeah, exactly. So how about this? We let this run, juice it up, and then I'll see you out in the dining area, and we'll taste some food.
No problem.
Or drink some food. Drink some juice, taste some food. We'll see you in a bit. Ian, thank you for spending some time with us. Really appreciate it. First, before we get started about all of the intricate parts of what's happening here at Viscaya Museum and Gardens, tell us what's going on a regular basis. What's happening right now?
Well, we're actually at a very special time in the history of Viscaya. We're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the gardens this year.
Wow.
They took 8 years to complete, and what you see today was completed in 1922.
100 years ago, did it look like this?
Not at all. Actually, 100 years ago, it was tidal marsh, mangrove swamp, completely undeveloped. Miami Avenue was a one-lane dirt path through the jungle. And so James Deering, who was Viscaya's owner, bought this property from Mary Brickell in 1908.
As far as the foliage that we're looking at, is it native? Is it exotic?
It's a combination. We have a lot of exotic foliage here in the gardens. Today we try to choose plants that are a little bit more ecologically conscious and environmentally sound, that require less fertilizer and water than something they maybe would have chosen 100 years ago.
Sure.
But what's interesting about this garden is they did use some native plants in really unique ways. For example, the trees that are behind you here, this is what we call an aerial hedge. Some people also call it an allée. In Italy, this would have been made with holly oak. That doesn't grow here, so they used live oak instead, which is, something that you see everywhere. It grows all over the place.
Right.
It's an extraordinarily tough tree, and that's one of the reasons these trees are still here 100 years later, being so heavily trimmed, being flooded with salt water and fresh water and so on. So it was a really good choice at the time, and it still holds true today.
I got one last question for you.
Sure.
And it's really more of, it's for our South Florida audience, which is most people watching this show.
Right.
But a lot of people watching SoFlo Health have probably been here because it's a South Florida institution.
Yes.
But on your first pass, you don't necessarily get everything. So
Right.
what are some of the fun facts or the hidden parts of the garden that people might not find in their first, second, or even third visit?
If you go to the back of the marine garden, you'll see steps that are leading down into what is now mangroves.
Right.
And originally, that was still mangroves. They were kept to help protect the garden, but there was a pathway there that would lead to a beach. And it was a private beach for Viscaya guests that they could lounge on and have great views of Viscaya to our north, and then, Biscayne Bay unobstructed to the south. There's a little pathway that goes kind of through the woods. It doesn't go very far, but it goes through some 100-year-old trees that are there and leads you right out to the canal. And it's completely enclosed by mangroves now. It's extremely private. It's a really, really cool space. And you feel like you've been taken to prehistoric times. It's really neat.
Well, Ian, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
There's clearly so much to see, to experience, and discover. I'm sure there's more secrets out there that you're just going to have to visit to find.
Yes.
But I've got plenty of exploring to do, so thank you so much.
Pleasure.
For
Great
spending
to
time
see
with
you,
us.
Hunter.
Good to see you as well.
Yep.
Isn't Ian great? He's given us a beautiful picture of what the museum is like in the gardens area, but now I'm inside of the tea house, which is a space that James Deering and his associates would have tea and gather and have some fun. And right outside, you can actually see the Stone Barge, which was another place for gathering and enjoying friends. Are you seeing a theme here? Fun fact, you might look at this barge and say, how on earth do I get out there? Well, there was a gondolier that would take you from the dock over to the barge, and you could even get a tour of Biscayne Bay with that gondolier. Sounds like a pretty good way to see South Florida, but I'm going to give you a tour of the rest of Viscaya Museum and Gardens, so stay with us. That's not all the lime we have yet. Join Professor Produce for a citrus circus centered around limes when SoFlo Health returns.
Focusing on you from your team of experts at Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, South Florida's only National Cancer Institute designated cancer center.
Rachel Burfield was diagnosed with cervical cancer at age 31.
I froze once he said that it was cancer.
Dr. Aaron Kobitz, Sylvester's Associate Director for Population Sciences and Cancer Disparity, says too many women are still dying from this preventable cancer.
Worldwide, cervical cancer remains the #1 cause of cancer mortality for women. And this is really a shame because cervical cancer is in fact preventable.
A new collaboration between Sylvester and the World Health Organization is aimed at eliminating cervical cancer by meeting 3 key targets by 2030.
1, increasing vaccination uptake to 90%. 2, ensuring that all women have access to screening throughout their life course. And 3, ensuring that women with detected abnormalities could get access to timely and appropriate treatment.
Dr. Kobitz's message is one of solidarity and sisterhood.
Together, we can envision a world without cervical cancer and certainly without cervical cancer disparity.
Rachel's cancer was caught early and surgically removed. She credits Sylvester for now being cancer-free.
They really have a passion for what they're doing, and that meant the most to me.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and we are now inside of the secret garden at Viscaya Museum and Gardens. It was originally designed for orchids, but due to its direct sunlight and being by the ocean, not so orchid friendly. Now it's more of a desert landscape with agave, succulents, and aloe. And then right over here, you can see the rest of the gardens that we were in earlier with Ian. And Ian was talking about painting topography with low plants, and here's where you can really see that come to life. You can see the beautiful designs and how it all kind of winds together and is very symmetrical and just soothing to be out here. No wonder James Deering made this place the way that it is. Anyway, there's a whole lot more to see, but first, watch this. If you're like millions of other people that constantly have a runny nose, postnasal drip, you're sneezing all the time and have allergies that never seem to go away, well, there's an innovative new procedure you won't want to miss. Let's go meet Dr. Young. I'm now joined by Dr. Jay Young. Dr. Young, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I've got a big question for you. When patients are here in this chair, you often diagnose them with chronic rhinitis. What is that?
Ooh, good question. So rhinitis simply means inflammation of the nose. Doesn't matter if it's from allergies, doesn't matter if it's from a virus, inflammation of the nose. It can manifest in many different ways. Some people it's congestion, some people it's runny nose, some people it's postnasal drip, some people it's that sexy.
And what do you do about it?
So one of many options includes Aaron's Ryanair. Ryanair is a minimally invasive procedure that uses radio frequency energy, which is simply controlled heat energy, to ablate a nerve in the back of the nose. Think of it as a faucet, turns it down. Can't get rid of every drop, but you can absolutely turn it down so that it's much more manageable.
And what does minimally invasive mean when it comes to that procedure?
In the old days, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we had to take people to the OR, general anesthesia. Now, in this seat right here, we can do everything that we need to do to get you better. There's no incisions on the outside, a little bit of topical numbing medicine. We can get you feeling better with all of the aforementioned symptoms.
Wow. And what sort of outcomes can you expect from somebody who does Ryanair?
So the patients that have done Ryanair have had remarkable success.
The procedure all in all was maybe 20 minutes, and then after that I was right back to work. It's been about a year and I feel great. No more runny nose, a lot less sneezing and coughing, and then the breathing is just honestly the greatest thing ever. Being actually able to breathe properly through your nose without having to inhale through your throat. If you're having issues, don't procrastinate like I did and just wait and thinking it's gonna get better, because it won't. You have to solve it some way. And I think Ryanair, at least for me, was the way to go.
Dr. Young, why do you offer Ryanair to your patients?
I offer Ryanair to my patients because they've already had everything. They've already tried nasal sprays. They've already been allergy tested. They've had the runny nose, the congestion, the postnasal drip for years. Now we have an option to help them without doing any of the invasive procedures. The website for Aaron Medical has a list of the physicians that provide the service. There are some of us that are well trained with all of the latest technology, and right here, right now, we could set one up for it.
Now we're at the formal garden, and what's cool about the formal gardens is it's very symmetrical. In fact, if you're in a gazebo like this one, you can see another gazebo. I can see you, you can see me, I can see down to the side here, there's another gazebo. I mean, look, that's you looking at me. Kind of fun. And it adds to the symmetry and the beauty of this whole garden. Now, we're gonna head over to the secret area that Ian told us about earlier, so make sure you keep watching SoFlo Health. Professor Produce here, coming to you from Mirando Farms in Davie. We're going to talk about limes. The green one. That's a tomato. Perfect. Limes, a very zesty fruit. Oh look, a key lime. Yes, Mr. Eklund. Get on with it? Yes, sir. There are many species of limes, but this one is what we see most often in the grocery stores, and it's the Persian lime. They may be on the small side. I mean, just look at this grapefruit. But they're loaded with nutrients. In fact, just one lime has all of this. Oh. And small amounts of other vitamins and minerals. The star of the lime show is vitamin C, which can help boost your immune system, increase collagen production, which is good for your skin, and make you feel better if you have a cold. Besides vitamin C, limes contain antioxidants, which can boost your immune system by protecting your cells from free radical damage and even possibly prevent age-related skin changes, like wrinkles. Oh, look, it's raining. That really sours our discussion on limes.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, and limes make almost everything taste better. From water to salads to fish, a squeeze of fresh lime can be, wait for it, sublime. Ow. Now I'm in a sour mood. More from Viscaya's impressive views and a taste of certified organic juice we began earlier after the break on SoFlo Health. The more we discover Viscaya Museum and Gardens, I just can't believe how much there is to see here. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and like I said, we're at Viscaya Museum and Gardens, and earlier we spoke to Ian, and he told us about some secret spots that you can find for yourself and learn about some of the history that was once here. Well, still is here, but what it used to be like about 100 years ago. Follow me on this path. Those were the steps that Ian told us about earlier. And although it's not exactly secretive or difficult to find, you wouldn't know what these steps did or what their purpose was for unless you watched SoFlo Health. And as he told us earlier, this would lead down to a path that you could then walk to the lagoon part of the gardens. Now it's just a canal and overgrown by mangroves, and it's actually labeled as a wildlife habitat, so watch out for alligators and watch this. And we're now with Janelle of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we're inside of the courtyard of Viscaya Museum and Gardens. It's absolutely gorgeous in here.
Gorgeous.
And we've been enjoying a wonderful day at Viscaya. Now, you have some insight for us to be able to enjoy Viscaya in a different way. How is that?
What's exciting is that during April and May, we've got great offers on MiamiTemptations.com, and by great offers I mean attractions and museums are offering fantastic deals. Here at Viscaya specifically, they're offering 20% off their membership, and if you buy an adult ticket, you get another one 50% off. If you are a local, I would definitely recommend visiting MiamiTemptations.com, because year-round you have special offers that you can enjoy and explore your own backyard.
Now that Janelle showed us how to save some money and explore South Florida, I've decided to explore the Rose Garden. And the Great Hurricane of 1926 actually made it impossible to grow flowers here for about 90 years. Until recently, where you can now see roses once again in the Rose Garden. There's also another beautiful vantage I want to show you, but you're gonna have to follow me. From the Rose Garden, you can get to the Garden Mound, which is where we are now, and all of this coral that you see was quarried on site, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. And from here, you get a beautiful vantage, and you also get to see right through the center of the formal garden that we saw earlier. And as Ian told us, the light used to reflect right into those glass doors and pretty much be blinding, so this area was created to shade and diffuse the light, creating a beautiful scene that you can now enjoy. We're still here at Clean Juice in Plantation. Earlier, we spoke to Mike and Chris to learn about the concept here. We learned that it's all certified organic, which is a big difference. And we also got to see cold pressed juicing on site. In fact, Chris is finishing up what we saw get started earlier, and he'll have it for us in just a sec. There he is.
Here's our cold pressed orange you helped make.
There it is. And then you've got a few other treats for us here. What do I have in front of me?
This is our most popular smoothie. It's called the So Basic one.
Why is it called that?
So Basic. It's a banana, strawberry, almond butter, and maple syrup.
Perfect. That's pretty basic.
It is pretty
But
basic.
doesn't mean it's not good.
No, it's a fantastic.
And what do you have here?
That is an acai bowl.
Okay,
So-
what's in it? I'm gonna take a bite if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. So it's blueberry, strawberry, I believe maple syrup, almond butter, topped with banana, strawberry, goji berry, and granola.
Oh yeah. That is so fresh.
Glad we could satisfy you.
Chris, what would you say to somebody who has never tried organic pressed juices, smoothies, acai bowls like this? What would you say to them?
I would say it's the best thing you can do for your body that also tastes good. Because all of the ingredients are sourced fresh, organic, no added chemicals or toxins.
Yeah, and that's what's important to a lot of people is that they're not only getting something that's healthy for them, but they're not getting all that added junk in it. And that's what you really look for in organic. And as we talked about earlier, you guys are certified organic.
Absolutely, USDA.
All right, well, I'm gonna keep working on this.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and we are wrapping up our time at Viscaya Museum and Gardens with one of the most famous shots that you'll see, especially on Instagram, of this location. And it's right here at the bottom of this spiral staircase. And as much as I love this shot, and I would like to close out the show from here, I'm gonna come up and see you. There we go. That's a lot better and a lot less echoey. When you're here at Viscaya Museum and Gardens, you can spend some time in the beautiful courtyard. You can spend some time in one of these beautiful rooms full of artifacts and architecture from more than 100 years ago, but definitely 100 years ago. In fact, they're still celebrating their 100-year anniversary. And while you're here, just think back to what it might have been like to enjoy this in the winters of the 1920s, because that's what James Deering did. That's all we have for this week's episode of SoFlo Health. There is still plenty to see here, but that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Viscaya for having us, the GMCVB for making it easier for us to get here, and of course, Ian for explaining the different architecture, the gardens, and giving us a few little secret hints that we can check out while we're here. As always, you can watch previous episodes of SoFlo Health on SoFloShows.com. You can follow us using @SoFlo Health to share with us what you're doing to stay healthy. And until next week, it's goodbye and good health. Next week on SoFlo Health, who let the dog out? We jump into a partner interval training class at Legacy Wynwood and tour their new flagship gym. Are you one of those people that pulls the tomato off of your food? Professor Produce tries to convince you otherwise with the many health benefits of tomatoes. Tomatoes? Tomatoes. It's all next week on SoFlo Health, and we'll see you then.